Hey Soapy family, welcome back to your favorite channel for all things soapy spoilers. If you thought last month was wild, just wait until you hear what went down in March 2026 on Sabbatskloof. We've got fathers and daughters colliding, new romances sparking in the most unexpected places, and little Hayley's disappearance keeping everyone on edge. The wine farm has become a pressure cooker of emotions, and believe me, things are about to boil over. So settle in, get comfortable, and let me take you through every heart-stopping moment of this month's drama. On Monday the 2nd of March, episode 216, Gershwin got the fright of his life when Joyce tracked him down and dragged him home, sitting him down for a very serious conversation. With a heavy heart, she laid it all out for him, revealing that the real mastermind behind all the bad luck and chaos hitting their family is none other than Allistair, who has been pulling the strings all along. Over on the farm, Joey made it his personal mission to keep a close eye on Warren, not trusting this new winemaker for 1 second, watching his every move like a hawk. Meanwhile, Esther reached out to CJ, trying to broker some sort of peace between them, but made it crystal clear it would have to be on her terms. And Veronique, never one to sit still, decided to rope Trevor into helping her get closer to Allistair, setting the stage for even more manipulation. Come Tuesday, the 3rd of March, episode 217, Choppy surprised everyone by not only giving the green light for the Druiway Dance Festival to go ahead, but he also personally asked some of the workers to start with the preparations, getting the whole farm buzzing with excitement. Warren, however, found himself in a tight spot, trying to figure out the ins and outs of pumps, paths, and pipes, but Joey was not about to make it easy for him, questioning whether a winemaker should even be concerning himself with such things. The biggest shock of the day came when Allistair's sinister plan regarding little Hayley was finally exposed. And to make matters worse, he had a terrifying surprise waiting for Veronique right there on Sabbatskloof. By Wednesday, the 4th of March, episode 218, CJ was going stir-crazy, sitting around waiting for answers about his daughter, so he turned to Brenda and asked her to join him in going out there to search for some answers themselves. The sister household received a supper invitation that completely caught them off guard, leaving them wondering what drama would be served up alongside the food. Just when everyone thought things couldn't get more complicated, Octavia made a dramatic return to Sabbatskloof, arriving completely unexpected. Meanwhile, Veronique's desperate search for answers led her straight into a face-to-face confrontation with her father, and the extreme encounter that followed left everyone reeling with consequences that would ripple through the whole community. Thursday the 5th of March, episode 219, brought the possibility of finally laying a big secret to rest, and with that confession came the chance for a brand new understanding between certain parties. A set of keys was discovered that could potentially unlock the right room where Hayley was being held, but finding the keys didn't automatically mean the little girl was safe. Debbie Lee had a moment of sudden realization that hit her like a ton of bricks, something so shocking it completely threw her for a loop. Over at the Murray household, Shireen found herself suddenly feeling uncertain about Warren, those little doubts creeping in and making her question everything she thought she knew about him. Friday, the 6th of March, episode 220, had CJ, Brenda, and Veronique racing against time, desperately trying to bypass the security on a phone that held crucial information about Hayley's whereabouts. Debbie Lee received some unexpected results that completely changed her perspective on things. Shireen decided to take Warren home with her, but not before laying down the law with a firm ultimatum that he couldn't ignore. The tension was getting to everyone, especially Esther, who found herself wound tighter than a spring, the stress of the whole situation threatening to make her snap at any moment. On Monday, the 9th of March, episode 221, CJ put his foot down and demanded to spend some quality time alone with his child, but Brenda was having none of it, convinced that it wasn't a good idea given everything that was going on. Nena and Joey weren't making things easy for Debbie Lee to keep her news under wraps, their prying eyes noticing something was different about her, and Sandy's suspicions started growing like weeds. Warren managed to give both Philip and Napoleon genuine reasons to be concerned about his activities on the farm, while Shireen couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something from her once again. Tuesday, the 10th of March, episode 222, saw Lucky showing up unexpectedly at Shireen's house, and the things he revealed to her were so shocking, she could barely wrap her head around them. Brenda made the difficult decision to reveal that CJ had actually gone on the run with baby Hayley, and what's more, Veronique had been assisting him the whole time. She begged everyone to keep it a secret to protect CJ and the little girl. Later, a simple blanket led to a massive revelation that changed everything for those involved in the search. By Wednesday, the 11th of March, episode 223, Shireen had decided she was prepared to listen to Warren's complete story regarding Lucky and whatever history existed between them. Sandy accompanied Debbie Lee to her first appointment, and together they received news that absolutely floored them. Something neither of them had expected. Octavia made her position crystal clear to Veronique, stating firmly that she wouldn't be leaving Subutskloof until CJ and Hayley were safely back where they belonged. Later, Debbie Lee and Chijopi sat down and shared their stories of the day with each other, finding comfort in their connection. Thursday, the 12th of March, episode 224 found Veronique dealing with bigger problems than just her father showing up uninvited. Because Warren had decided he wanted to start planting right where Veronique's deepest secrets were literally buried. Warren and Lucky found themselves at extreme loggerheads with each other, their conflict escalating, and poor Shireen was stuck, right in the middle of it all, trying to keep the peace. Debbie Lee was genuinely concerned about what the future held for her, but Joey encouraged her to open up and speak honestly with her beloved about her fears and hopes. Friday, the 13th of March, episode 225, had Debbie Lee taking Joey's advice to heart, sitting Nena down and telling her all about her plans with Choppy, and both women agreed it felt like a step in the right direction. Shireen tried to connect with Sandy by sharing that she knew exactly how it felt to grow up without a father figure, but Sandy shut that conversation down quickly, not wanting to go there. It became increasingly clear that Lucky was also harboring a big secret from his father. Octavia came up with a clever plan to prevent Warren from using that particular piece of land, and Veronique had her own idea about how to get rid of her troublesome father, though carrying it out would take a serious toll on her. On Monday the 16th of March, episode 226, Veronique was clearly not coping with everything pressing down on her, and surprisingly, it was Octavia who noticed first and took an interest. Brenda was completely caught off guard when Veronique chased her away rather aggressively. Lucky, meanwhile, turned on the charm when he met the sisters for the first time, and he was immediately impressed when he came face to face with Brenda. Warren tried to show Lucky that he wasn't such a terrible father after all, while Jan started feeling the weight of guilt pressing down on him because of his many lies. Tuesday the 17th of March, episode 227, had Shireen accidentally overhearing Lucky's plan with Warren, and she didn't waste any time confronting him about it directly. Nena decided to take Veronique's behavior to task, confronting her about everything, and Veronique finally broke down completely, sobbing right there in Nena's arms. Jan showed up at the house a little bit tipsy, blaming his circumstances for his state. Lucky's interest in Brenda grew even stronger when she gave him some serious lip, clearly enjoying her fire and spirit. By Wednesday the 18th of March, episode 228, Lucky's feelings of guilt were absolutely eating him alive from the inside, and he decided it was time to play open cards with Warren, especially since Shireen and Warren's relationship was bleeding because of all the secrets. Jan decided to make himself useful by joining the workforce, which immediately made Joey feel like he might be getting replaced. Nena shared her deep concerns about Veronique's mental state with Octavia and Hermione, and Octavia decided it was time to take action and bring an end to Veronique's suffering. Sandy had a conversation with Hermione about Esther, and how the Murray family was managing to function with little Haley still missing. Thursday, the 19th of March, episode 229, saw Joey giving Nena genuine reason for concern when he started walking around the house in his robe all day long, not his usual self at all. Octavia informed Veronique that Junior was on his way to London, and Veronique immediately started planning a press conference to explain to the public how the Murray family was getting on with life despite Haley's disappearance. The sisters welcomed Lucky into their midst, accepting him warmly, but then an upsetting newspaper article started doing the rounds, stirring up trouble. Brenda told Debbie Lee that she honestly thought the writing was on the wall for her and CJ's relationship, it just wasn't working anymore. Veronique and Choppy teamed up to try and find CJ so they could persuade him not to keep fleeing with Haley any further. Nena was terrified that she had broken Joey's trust and crushed his heart when Jan advised him to do more exercises, making her feel completely inadequate. And Brenda found herself wanting to kiss Lucky, those feelings growing stronger by the day. On Monday, the 23rd of March, episode 230, Veronique knew she had to come up with a solid plan to get Haley back to Sobat's Kloof without implicating CJ in any way. A delicate balancing act, if ever there was one. Lucky discovered that Brenda was actually married, and Brenda decided that under the circumstances it would be best if she moved back to Berg Valley, with Octavia supporting her decision all the way. Joey decided he wanted to turn his life around completely with a new exercise regime, and he actually asked Warren to help him get started. Tuesday the 24th of March, episode 231, had Joey's exercise regime becoming quite the inspiration for the other men on the farm, with several joining in. But Nena was deeply concerned about the amount of money he was spending on this new obsession. CJ wanted desperately to talk to Brenda when he realized she had returned to Berg Valley, but she wasn't interested in having any conversation with him. Veronique's next phase of her plan involved Crescentia, and it was clear this would cost her dearly. Brenda took a bold step and asked Lucky to move in with her at Berg Valley. By Wednesday the 25th of March, episode 232, Esther couldn't stay in that hospital bed a moment longer once she saw Crescentia's video, discharging herself immediately and heading straight for Sobatskloof with fire in her eyes. Joey tried desperately to hide a sports injury from Nena, not wanting her to worry. The friendship between Lucky and Brenda continued to deepen, and he advised her to finally have that difficult conversation with CJ and clear the air between them. Thursday, the 26th of March, episode 233, saw Esther stepping up to the podium at the press conference and making a shocking announcement that left everyone in the room absolutely stunned. Nena was so concerned about Joey's intense fitness regime that she asked Shireen to step in and help assess the situation. Shireen gently suggested that Debbie Lee and Chijopi might want to consider visiting a fertility clinic if they were serious about their future together. Brenda finally came to a firm decision regarding her future with CJ after seeing him with someone else, realizing where she truly stood. Friday, the 27th of March, episode 234. Veronique worked her magic on Choppy, convincing him to put CJ first and move forward with his plans regarding Haley, which meant he would have to let his bitter battle with Esther go once and for all. Lucky had finally reached his limit with Warren's constant lies and wanted to move out of the house, prompting Shireen to give Warren a final ultimatum about his behavior. Marco was shocked to his core when he heard what Brenda had been up to, and Shireen had a moment of clarity, realizing something important about what was going on with her grandfather. On Monday the 30th of March, episode 235, Veronique finally found a moment of peace in someone's arms, a rare moment of calm in her stormy life. While across the way Brenda and CJ actually sat down and talked to each other like mature adults for once, Warren decided it was time to share a very big secret with Lucky, something that had been weighing on him. Joey found himself longing for visits from the kids, feeling the empty nest deeply. And Choppy proudly showed Debbie Lee his vision of what their future together could look like. Tuesday, the 31st of March, episode 236, brought news from Choppy that threatened to unearth long-buried family secrets, while Debbie Lee went shopping for the news she thought they would be getting about their future, building up expectations. Veronique found a strange sense of peace in accepting the current reality of CJ and Brenda's situation, letting go of some of her controlling tendencies. And Lucky finally opened up to Brenda, explaining exactly what was happening in his complicated life and laying all his cards on the table. And that's everything that went down in March 2026. This month had absolutely everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your soapy loving friends, and subscribe so you never miss our next recap. Let those ads play all the way through or for at least 30 seconds, and if you're feeling generous, hit that super thanks button or consider joining our channel membership family. We appreciate every single one of you who makes this community so special. Until next time, keep your loved ones close and your secrets closer.